This is our country. We're the citizenry. We support immigration, but with terms and standards and requirements. We get to decide who comes. We get to vet you. We get to decide if you'll be a contributor, if you will be a taxpayer, if you will comply with our law. You don't get to come to our country, at least theoretically, and impose your will, plant your flag, take down our flag, take over our institutions and our culture, receive money from enemy governments and enemy societies to use here in our own country. You know what that's called? Suicide. Now we go to the Met Gala, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I guess, where all the elites go to have a good time, especially the leftists, in Central Park. So let's take a look at this. Go. By any means necessary. By the way, that's the name of a Marxist group. Now let's stop a minute. Most of these people, not all, are Palestinians, or Arabs or Muslims. They're wearing the garb. They're waving the Palestinian flag. At least this time they haven't confused it with the Italian flag. Go ahead. One of the signs there, from Gaza to Jerusalem. Calling for the Intifada. The Intifada was calling for the slaughter of the Jews. Now, stop 1 second. Now, in the latter years of the Obama administration, he focused on increasing the number of people who would be allowed to come into the United States from Muslim parts of the world and Arab countries, and he succeeded. The percentage of Muslim immigrants hugely increased out of proportion with the numbers in the United States. And so Obama did that. He did that intentionally. But Joe Biden always wanted to outdo Obama. Obviously, the extent to which we have people coming across from that part of the world has skyrocketed. And we're not even keeping track very much about who it is and what their intentions are. They're not vetted. There's really no way to vet people from Gaza. And of course, we know that Biden and Blinken have a plan to import people from Gaza into the United States if they have family members in the United States or some other concoction they've come up with. Now, why would we do that? For this? For this? And what does this free Gaza mean? Gaza was always free. Gaza wasn't even Palestinian. Gaza was Egyptian. Two types of people used to live in Gaza, Jews and Egyptians. And so the decision was made, give or take, about 20 years ago by the Israeli government under Sharon that, okay, look, we'll give Gaza to the Palestinians. Not that it's a two-state solution, but it's an area. It's a beautiful area. It's right on the Mediterranean. And that's what they did. And look what happened. Free Gaza. From what? You know, the biggest border for Gaza is with Egypt. Egypt wants nothing to do with the Palestinians. Jordan has 70-80% of their population are Palestinians. He doesn't want any new Palestinians, period. Why? Because they're constantly trying to overthrow the Hashemite monarchy there. Nobody wants them except Joe Biden. Why in the hell would we bring people to the United States, 87% of the population of which supports Hamas? That's the last survey. 87%. And about that percentage supports October 7th. Why would we bring people like that into the United States? The purpose of immigration is not to help them. It's to improve life for American citizens. That's the purpose of immigration. I wrote about it way back in Liberty and Tyranny. The purpose of immigration is not to feed and clothe and medicate other people who are not American citizens. This is our country. We're the citizenry. We support immigration, but with terms and standards and requirements. We get to decide who comes. We get to vet you. We get to decide if you'll be a contributor, if you will be a taxpayer, if you will comply with our law. You don't get to come to our country, at least theoretically, and impose your will, plant your flag, take down our flag, take over our institutions and our culture, receive money from enemy governments and enemy societies to use here in our own country. You know what that's called? Suicide. Go ahead.
Israel demonstrators marched through Upper Manhattan towards the Met while the gala was in full swing, but they were blocked from reaching it by dozens of police in riot gear who were forced to make arrests.
And by the way, the cops in these cities must be exhausted. Putting that riot gear on every damn day, having to drag the same a-holes off the streets, off the campuses, off of private property, from blocking bridges or blocking museums or whatever the hell they're blocking. They're going to be wearing down local law enforcement after a period of time here. You can't do this day after day after day after day. These punks should be thrown in jail, and they should have their asses in jail. Look what they did to the January 6ers. I'm not even talking about those who were violent. The vast majority weren't. Threw them in jail and figured it out later. Well, what's going on with these people? We know what it is. The Marxist Islamists have a free ticket. Get out of jail. Why? Because they're Marxist Islamists. Conservatives, MAGA supporters, patriots. I'm not talking about those who attacked cops and broke into the building. What about the hundreds and the thousands of others who are being targeted? They don't get a free get-out-of-jail pass. We're going to really let them have it, say the judges in Washington, D.C. It's sickening. Go ahead.
If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you remain in the roadway and refuse to...
I love these little a-holes running around with their video cameras and all the rest. Why? We'll get these cops in trouble. We should be running around with video cameras, getting their faces and making sure they never have a job in America, making sure they never get any kind of federal or state grant, let alone student forgiveness, making sure they are pariahs and everybody knows their face and who they are.
Want to see more? Sign up for Levin TV.